I wish I could build something that was 100%, but if I did, that'd take all the fun out of this.
Forex Morning Mayhem is a must-listen podcast for currency traders. Get a curated watch list, insightful market analysis, and crucial news updates, plus trading tips for all levels. But remember, it's educational, not investment advice. Scan the QR code in the description to join our free Trade Faction Slack channel for live trade calls. If you like the podcast, please follow and share. Let's get started.
Good morning. It's July 11, 2025, and this is Forex Morning Mayhem. Let's see what's happening in the news today. President Trump announced a 35% tariff on Canadian imports and flagged a potential 20% tariff for other countries, while USMCA goods remain exempt. The EU will be formally notified by Friday. European stocks and US futures are down -0.6%, and the USD is strong, with DXY hitting 97.89. Bonds reversed earlier gains after hawkish ECB comments. Oil trades choppily, precious metals benefit from risk aversion, and base metals weaken. Key events ahead include Canadian jobs data and central bank speakers. If you find this podcast useful, please like and subscribe to the show. If you are new to trading, check out the Trade Faction, a totally free resource where you can watch our trades live. Also, don't forget to download our new Forex AI Sage app in the Apple App Store to use the latest in agentic AI to help you trade. Now, let's join Bill and Dave for today's show.
As I said, I spent time with little Asian UI lady, and here's what happened. I said functionality-wise, I have it doing what I want it to do. So she's cool. I said, visually, I think it's doing what I want to do. And she said, that's always not good.
Just a few changes.
Here's what we discussed. So it was mostly to do with the HUD, not very much to do at all, if anything, with the chart. What she said was, it was too complex and confusing. All right. I said, which part? She said, all of it. I said, oh, cool. Some of the things I had already done, and she was okay with them. So the first row tells you what style of trading you're doing and whether or not you have the volume filter engaged, which I do, but sometimes I turn it off just to see the difference. What that is, it's applied to all of the filters. Unless the volume is significant, the filter's not going to fire. That makes sense? Okay, so then after that, the HUD is broken up into the momentum peak signal, the pivot signal, and the pivot bound. Okay. So those are the three main signals that fire, and actually you can see two of them right here. There's the pivot, and there's a pivot bound. So it's just a little circle. The only thing that's different, do I have one here? Okay, here's an SMP. That's either a little blue or yellow circle that tells you when price has rubber band is really stretched hard. Okay, that's basically what that tells you about. All right, but I had a bunch of shit jammed into these rows. And as you can see, they look completely different now. And she said you should put a recommendation of what to do when you get that signal so that it's super easy for people to see when they get a signal what to do. So for example, the last pivot signal was here. The recommendation was follow the market. It's a strong signal. So the signals are broken up into strong, weak, and I think there's like a neutral. Okay. So we came up with that. And then this last portion here is the state of the current market. And right now the market is sideways. And look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it's right. But then you may ask, what if I want to take a closer look at the statistics behind all that? Well, we invented this cool little button here called Show Performance Data.
Ooh.
Watch the HUD.
Uh,
Okay, so this is the data on which the signal is derived, okay? See how it says the S&P is weak? That means that it only was right 20% of the time. Trending, it was wrong 67%, okay? Same here with the pivot signal. This is much better. This is right 86% of the time and wrong. This means counter trend trade. That's a different thing that I was keeping track of. The bounce signal, 93% of the time it's right. Okay. So we got an A, a B, and a D. No, that's more like an F. But the thing is, these vary as market conditions vary. So if you're in a super killer uptrend or downtrend, the S&P may be the top dog. Actually, what I thought I'd add to this,
Mhm.
we were all done and I was looking at it this morning after sleeping. I might put a ranking mechanism in there of some sort that says this is the one performing the best right now because it's adapting, if that makes any sense, right? It's not, it's like most signals are static, but because I have it integrated with AI, I have the ability to study what's going on in real time and then make suggestions on right now, the way the market is behaving, this signal is probably the best one to pay attention to.
All
But
right.
most of the time I want this turned off because that's way too much information. So that then simplifies the whole thing. So that's really the biggest update that I made based on her recommendations. I think they were all good recommendations. A lot of times when you're like so close to this stuff, you can't see shit.
Yeah.
It's nice to have another person look at it.
Yeah.
And especially because she knows nothing about trading. All she knows about is the interpretation of information. That her commentary is very helpful. If you need a manual, you're fucked up. Yeah, I should know better than that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. You know what I did that for? Is because I put so much stuff in here and I forget what it all does. I
Mm.
just make a manual that I can go back to and look at every once in a while and see what I did. It's just more for reference than anything else. All right, so let's get through with the analysis here today. I
Fantastic.
was looking. There's the only thing that happened was employment numbers in Canada, and they were all good, and that's it. Nothing else is going on. You were trading last night, right?
Yeah, started trading last night basically because I took down the fence and I wasn't able to move.
Oh yeah, I
So if you
did.
can't move, you might as well make money.
Yeah, right. Because it was hopping last night. I was surprised. It was
Dude, yeah, that was like a hotbed of messages. Nothing. We had nothing really.
right.
And all and so boom, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. Around, I've noticed a pattern right around 10:30, 11. It really picks up. But yesterday, it was like hopping as soon as the market opened, like from 8 on out. It would just kept being
yeah.
something.
What
Anyway,
happens at? Let's do an analysis. What happens at 10, 11? Are we still in the
nothing.
overlap?
Yeah, we're still in the overlap. The overlap is to like 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
Okay, that's way
I
too.
actually quit early because it's 11 o'clock here. But yeah, the only thing I
A
guess.
fury at the end.
I guess maybe low, so 8 o'clock is like when you come into work, right? So maybe that 10 o'clock is when people get done getting their coffee, chit-chatting at the water cooler, fucking around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Who knows?
Huh.
Or it could be when somebody's computer turns on, right?
Yeah.
When somebody flips on the algorithm. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me, but I've noticed that it seems to happen a lot. When I'm ready to nod off, I'm like, oh shit, I can't go. So I don't know. We'll see. So analysis. Let's start with the currency pairs, Aussie, US dollar. Now that I have a newly beautifully redesigned HUD, I'm just going to go to it and let it tell me what's going on. Now,
Fantastic.
right now, it is currently ranging sideways, which is what boys and girls, what this means. It's doing a whole lot of nothing. So pretty much you don't pay any attention to it when it does that. The other thing you'll notice is this is yellow, which means it's right in the middle of the spectrum of the rubber band is right at the nail. It's
Mm.
not stretched one way or the other. It's just chunking along sideways. So you just ignore all this. The last signal that fired was this pivot along with this pivot bounce, and they went nowhere. I wish I could build something that was 100%, but if I did, that'd take all the fun out of this. So I think this just fired a little while ago. Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, I actually see one on this chart. Okay, so back to the HUD. What's the current market condition? It is mixed. Now, this is a little thing that I came up with that I added. So you see this little tiny yellow vertical dash here?
Yeah.
Okay, that synchronizes with this. So how do you use that? What I've found is when you enter a signal, usually you'll get a strong indicator that says this is a strong signal, blah, blah, blah. It'll go
Yeah.
a few bars and then start to peter out because the market becomes mixed. So this is a pretty good indicator of when to get out of a trade if you've gotten into one. And this is actually a decent example because this was a pivot short. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably would have got in somewhere like here, and you would
Mm-hmm.
have got a little bit of a run up to here, but now you've got a little yellow thing painting above your price, which is telling you I'm out of gas.
All right.
So that's what that's all about. Anyway, the current market condition for the US Canadian dollar is mixed to down. See, it's also smart enough to do that. Before it was just mixed. Okay. Then the signal rows just show what the last signal was and its quality. So
Okay.
the last one, the last pivot was short, which is, oh yeah, right here. And the last pivot bounce was a buy, which is right here. Oh, wow. I can't believe that worked. That's what that's all about. Okay, on
Fantastic.
to the next one. So it's getting better and better, making it a little.
Are you an active trader looking to elevate your trading skills? We invite you to join the Trade Faction, a community where you can witness trades called out live. To connect with fellow traders and gain real-time insights, simply click the link in the description or scan the QR code to join our free Slack channel. This is a great opportunity to enhance your trading strategies and stay ahead of the market. Also, don't forget to download our new Forex AI Sage app in the Apple App Store to use the latest in agentic AI to help you trade. So what are you waiting for? Click that link or scan the QR code now and download the app today.
A lot easier to trade for me because the hardest part for me was always I knew when to get in, but I never could get the getting out part right or very good at the getting out part. US Chief, current market, we're ranging sideways. Yep, that confirms that. The last pivot bounce was a long time ago. That was over here. And the last pivot was long, so that's got to be, oh, there it is right there. If they're mixed or ranging, unless you're going to use some kind of regression strategy like linear regressions or Keltner channels or something like that, there's really not much to do. I don't like trading like that. Some people love it. I call it ping pong trading. But you get too overconfident because it'll work like two or three times, and then that last time you bet the farm and it blows right through the line.
Yep.
So there. Everybody's been there. Yeah, I know. You're like so convinced you're gonna write, oh, it's gonna come back here and it's gonna bounce right off that like a hockey puck. And then it goes right through the glass. Okay. Pound US dollar. This is the boy I was trading yesterday, last night. I entered in, when did I enter in on these? Did I post that trade? I don't remember.
The,
Yeah, pound dollar trade.
the chief trade you posted.
This is what I traded yesterday. So let me show you what I got in on. I tend to like, okay, so you really got to pay attention to the signal quality when you get in. Now, that was the whole reason I wanted to invent that is because it's all these split second decisions you make. I hate leaving them up to chance. That makes
Mhm.
so I want to have at least some data to make a decision with, and that's why I have the model collecting all this data in real time and then coming up with an opinion on whether or not the signal is good or not. So anyway, what it told me was this was a pretty good signal, the
Mhm.
bounce. So that's the one I got in on. Okay.
Gotcha.
And I have found that a really useful strategy for this is you're going to like this. So I would put the stop loss here, right at the pivot. Okay.
Gotcha.
And then when I initially start, however far that is away from where I'm at, that would be the profit target.
Okay.
But if you really want to live dangerously, you just don't set a profit target and you stay in the trade until you get one of these little yellow guys, which says, oh, yeah, I'm done. Rubber band's just resting at the nail. That way you would have captured all of this. Okay. I did not do that. I like one-to-one risk reward ratios because that works really well into any kind of probability strategy that you might be working with. All you need
Hmm.
is a 1% edge in a 50-50 risk reward scenario, and you can make money. And as you can see, some of the edges that we have here are ridiculously good. So even the shittiest one is 22%, and you got 74 and 84. So if you can't make money with those kind of odds, you're retarded.
It's
So,
hard.
yep.
It's hard not to make money.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
All right. Now, are we going to get these reflected in the Slack messages?
Funny you should say that, Dave. Yes, eventually we will, but I have to figure out how to create the webhooks so that they capture the data. I'm thinking like all the data in the HUD is really useful. So
Gotcha.
when you get an alert, the alert would contain the information in the HUD.
Gotcha.
I want to create a product that requires me not to engage because I look at all the competition out there. I don't want to even be associated with some of those people. Since I've done this for so long and trained so many people, I know all the holes I'm going to step in. And the problem that you run into is when you're trying to help someone learn, it consumes all of your brain power and your time. So
Yeah.
you're not really paying attention to your trading. And if I put a product out there that's just going to generate a mountain of questions, I don't want to do that. So instead, I would rather put something out there with a framework on how to use it and all of the information so they can make their own decisions.
Gotcha.
That would be perfect. That's kind of what
Mhm.
I'm looking at. It's a short version. I don't want anybody to ask me any questions. I just want them to be able to look at it and go, oh, this is what I think I should do. It's my decision. So I don't have to engage at all. Not that I don't want to engage, but I don't want it to become a job kind of a thing, which is what has happened in the past. Spend 6 months training. I'll give you a perfect example of he shall remain nameless. 6 months training and then nothing happens, or
Yep.
they just flake out. Wasted my time. So I don't want to do that anymore. All right. That is all I got, man.
All right.
Have a good weekend. Try to get some sleep and
Yeah.
better yet, try to get some,
Oh yeah.
what do you call
I'm
those things? Old fashions in you.
uh, two old fashions and I'm gonna soak in a pool.
Perfect.
That's it, man. All right. Happy trading.
Bye.
Bye.